went to Starbucks. Timmy, what'd you get?
I got a vanilla bean frappuccino.
Ooh, I got a very, very hibiscus with no ice. What did you get?
White mocha with coconut milk.
Ooh, coconut milk.
Decaf.
Yes.
Decaf because it's after 4, so I will not sleep if I drink it.
That's true.
Matthew, what'd you get?
I got a strawberries and cream frappuccino.
Which you win. That drink looks amazing.
Yes.
It is really,
Yes,
it's really
okay, wait.
it's hot
Like, show it up
outside.
here.
It's
It looks like a unicorn just gave deliciousness in a cup.
there you go.
To Matt.
Unicorn
All you
drink.
needed.
Yeah. Okay, so if I remember correctly, where we left off from before we got Starbucks was
So we were talking originally about girls and not being taken advantage of, and I want to qualify. I'm not just talking about sexually, although that does happen, because I think the statistic is 1 in 5 girls can be taken advantage of sexually or assaulted or just something like that. So we can speak to that, but there's other ways to be taken advantage of in the dating situation, and you touched on that a little bit the last time, Tim, with emotionally, socially, just even spiritually, like sounding very spiritual, but really treating you not with the love and respect that you deserve. So I'd love to hear, like, Matthew and Tim, both of you guys can talk to the guys. What does that look like for the guys? And then Brittany, like your experience, you said you were very self-aware in dating and knew that those are the kind of guys we want to stay away from. So let's help coach some of these girls that may not know what to look for in that. So Brittany, you want to start us out?
Sure. So I think partially I went into dating with my eyes very wide open because my parents are divorced.
Okay.
So I didn't want to replicate, like I didn't want that to happen in my life. So I had a very critical view of the type of person that I wanted to date.
When you say critical, you mean?
I mean, like, I knew what kind of characteristics that I wanted them to have. So not like
You
critical
weren't critical of relationships.
No, I wasn't critical of relationships. Like I know like that the Lord has like
You were
called us to
discerning.
relationships. Yes, I was discerning. So I knew the type of person that I wanted to date. But I think a lot of it, I know I mentioned earlier, having friends and other people who can speak into and help you have wisdom is also a big key.
Huge.
But also going into dates, like, you know, from a physical standpoint, like don't get in a car with a guy that you don't really know that well. Like that's just, I mean, like that sounds kind of simple, but unfortunately in today's day and age, that's just wise. So like if you meet someone somewhere, like you be the one who drives there and meet them there type of thing. Hopefully if you're in high school though, like hopefully your parents know this person very well if you're even dating them and you're in high school.
Right.
Like that's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also think should not be afraid to get help and
Yes.
talk to people who are older and wiser than you and ask them.
Hey, is this normal?
Yes.
Why is he asking this?
Or this guy is doing this. Like people are not going to be upset at you. Like they want to help you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you are in a bad situation where you feel guilty or you feel like this shouldn't be happening, but I don't really know what to say or what to do, whether it's emotional or physical, anything, like you should talk to someone. And that is the best thing you can do because you can get advice and wisdom from someone who's older and wiser and who can help you be discerning in those
Like their small group
situations.
leader or their
Yes.
parents
Yes.
or...
And if that other person gets mad at you for doing that, run.
That's a red flag. That's a huge red flag.
Run.
Yes.
Very far away.
Yeah.
I would say generally, just you could apply that even more broadly across the relationship. Like if you're dating someone who only wants to bring things in between the two of you guys and wants to push people out in any area,
Secrets.
not
Yes.
just physical contact, whether that's spiritually, whether that's friendships, whether that's anything. If they're trying to only make it about the two of you and push other people out, that's a huge
Run.
huge red flag.
Run.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brittany, what would you say about emotional manipulation? Like, how do you recognize that in a dating relationship?
Well, I think part of that is being aware of how emotional you personally are and how drawn you are to other people. I think that's like knowing, is a guy actually valuing you and treating you like a brother in Christ should be treating you, emotionally, when you're dating someone, you are going to become emotionally involved, right? At a certain point. Hopefully if you are dating them, though, you're also trying to keep as much wisdom and as much like practical, like, is this person, like, what kind of person actually are they? And are they manipulating me? Like, are they, and what do my friends and parents say about them?
Like, are they teaching you how to think and trying to change your way of doing things, or subtly, like, oh, I like this, so like this is how you need to act and behave and whatever.
Right, and especially I think that can be hard to see. That's why I go back to, like, are you asking other people what they think about this person, and are they actively involved in your relationship and know that person and can speak to like how they are? Not that someone else is going to see everything between you, because they're not. But that can be, it's hard to recognize your own emotional manipulation. So that's why that's so important.
And being okay to receive the answer for that, because there are some times where, we want so badly for other people to like them, and your friends, they don't want to hurt your feelings or whatever, and yet at the same time they see all these red flags and they're like, so
you have to be the one to invite that, because often your friends might see it and talk about it behind your back, but they won't tell you unless you ask for it.
Right.
Now, a good friend should tell you anyway, but often people feel like you don't want to know. So you have to be mature enough to like really ask for it.
So Matthew and Tim, do you guys want to add to that at all, especially for the girls, like how to respond?
Should you be treated?
yeah, but I do want to get into that about how should the girls be treated as well. But like specifically for the girls, sometimes hearing a man's point of view might be helpful, especially somebody who is their leader.
Right. Well, like a guy should be taking the lead in a relationship in a positive way, and if the guy is like, if all he wants to, like, if he only wants to be physical in the relationship, or if he's really controlling, like if he's only really interested in telling you like how to make decisions, or if he's trying to like micromanage you, or he's controlling in any way, those are obviously huge red flags.
Yeah, so it's kind of, this will make sense once I explain it, but like when people gossip about like other people to me, sometimes that can be a really flattering thing, because you think they're like confiding in you, and it makes you feel better, but it makes me think, man, if you're talking this poorly about these people to me, what's to make me think you're not going to talk about me this way to others? So one of the like manipulating things, that you can kind of be on guard for, or just be aware of, is if that person's always negative, or I don't like these people, or well, they're dumb, they don't know what they're talking about, like it, and they try and, I don't know, like it can make you feel good inside, like we have something in common, or it should really be a red flag. But like if he's always speaking positively about people, if he's always, not critical or gossiping or this and that, like sometimes we take that as, wow, we're really close, so he's just opening up. Right. But I feel like it's opening up something deeper, and not darker, but something bigger is going on behind the scenes that maybe you should be aware of. And like I know when I was in high school, like before I met Rachel, like it was pretty much the common theme that I saw in our private school was like, what can I get from that girl? And I'm not talking sexually. I'm talking like, I'm gonna tell her what she wants to hear so that I can be invited to that party, or she can help me with my homework, or this girl's always buying my food. Right. Like, I know that sounds super immature and really petty.
Or it gets me into a different friend group or something like that.
Right. Like you say whatever tickles their ear to accomplish this, and then when you're with this friend group, you're kind of like morphing to them and telling them what they want to hear, and you're being all things to all people, but in a manipulative way, because you have motives, like I said, that aren't necessarily sexual, but it's advancing your game of getting just what you want so you can be comfortable. And I think those are the people that you need to steer pretty clear from.
So let's reverse the question then, and girls can also be manipulative too with guys. Well, I don't know. Can we? I mean, really, Brittany. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, we can. Truth. We absolutely can, girls. So, what about guys? And how should they respond with that, or recognizing when girls are being manipulative?
Well, I think one thing goes like going.
Go ahead, Matthew.
No, we're not saying Brittany was ever manipulative.
No, I'm just talking about this. Have fun answering this one. How are girls manipulative?
Or what? What to watch out for?
Yeah, what to watch out for. Well, I think this has been a theme throughout all of our conversation, but it's really easy, and I think particularly as a guy, to be blind to emotional manipulation. So having other godly women in your life, whether those are friendships, like peer, like girls in your class or you're friends with, or your sisters.
That's good.
Sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Sisters and moms they just have like a laser.
We have a radar.
They do.
We know.
They do have a
We
radar.
know.
Like there was some emotionally manipulative
Hashtag
girls
sad.
who I was interested in college. And like every time, like my sister or my mom would be like, I don't know. You really don't want to be friends with
So
them.
you didn't recognize it, but
I did not recognize it
At first.
In
okay.
hindsight, yes.
You look back and you're like, dodge that
exactly.
bullet.
So it's really easy. It's easy to look at especially I feel like with sisters, even younger, because all my sisters are younger. It can be really easy to discount, like, well, I'm 18 and you're 15.
Right.
So what do you really know about the relationship
Right.
that I'm in? And even with your mom too, I think every guy goes through a stage where it's like, oh, mom,
Right.
come on.
Right.
Don't your mom really loves you, and she can tell things. I don't know how women do it with each other, but they can tell things about each
Women's
other.
discernment. Yeah, dude.
Women
It's
just know
no
things
joke.
about
Come on,
other
Brittany.
women.
I know. You
Women, hey,
He knows.
I didn't know why I was fist bumping before, but
we women know. No, just kidding.
yeah,
It's true.
So I think that's honestly, I mean, if hopefully, if you're maybe a guy who's more attuned, who's more more attuned emotionally to things,
Okay.
like maybe you'll pick up on those things on your own. But for someone like me, like really rely on like your sisters and your mom, or again like godly friendship. It comes back to friendship, right? We're doing this in community,
Right.
not alone. So really rely on those relationships, and like Brittany said, you have to. If it's your sister or your mom, they might volunteer the information, but don't put them in that position. Like ideally you want to be going to them and like, hey, I'm interested in this girl, or I've been talking to this girl for a little while. What do you think?
If you're dating someone and you're not actively asking other people what they think about that person, you're doing it wrong. So
Drop the mic.
That's
Yeah.
also tweetable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is gold right here.
Well, the only thing I would add to that would just be, I think guys can be easily manipulated in how we spend our time and our money and how we think. So if you have a group of people who are helping form your thoughts and this, that, and the other, I think that's wonderful. I just remember middle school, high school, college, it can be one of these like, hey, if you don't hang out with me every night, or is there something wrong?
Right.
Like,
Who else are you talking to? Blah,
And I
blah,
feel like
blah.
that can be any gender. These were the things I looked like. I didn't need a second mom.
Right.
So, like if I was always having to explain myself, no, that's not what I meant. I was meaning this. I'm like, no, I think what you were trying to say is this or that. I think that can be a sign of like, man, this is probably not healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.